Shalom. I want to start giving all praise to Yahweh, Basham, Yahweh Shai, Basham Kakadash, double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone for teaching those scriptures, among other things, and salutations to all the Akyam across the earth for doing this work in sincerity and truth. And shalom to the sincere brothers and sisters who are at home watching the videos and do their best to please Yahweh, Basham, Yahweh Shai. So yeah, man, this video I basically want to go into the match that Holland played yesterday against Morocco, and the Jakes that were playing in the team for Holland that missed the penalties. They got a lot of shit in their DMs on Instagram and all that. People talking all these Edomites, these cowards, devils. Hiding behind their screens, talking all that shit, calling them monkeys, and they have to go back to their own country and all that blah 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 blah. And which is funny because I believe in the 80s or something, when you had Ruud Gullit, Frank Rijkaard, I think Clarence Seedorf was also there, and that was when the Dutch got became a champion when they won the World Cup with football. In America, they also call it soccer, but it's football. America, they got football and they playing it with a hand, so it doesn't make no sense. But yeah, America is a place upside down anyway. But let me see. Mm, I don't know. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I search on Ruud Gullit, because I remember I was on. It's in the 80s. I was on high school, and I had this doll that who make that sound. Let me see. Oh, I think it's if I look about it, 1987. I think they were not the world, but then they won from Europe, I think. I cannot really find it. But that let me see. Give me 1 second. Try to find it. Uh, 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 uh. Yeah, 1988 they were European championship. That's what they won. Yeah, and he had butted the goal in. Yeah, okay. So then they went. They won from Europe, and let me see if I can find some more information about that team. Let me see. 1988. So let me just search on the year. I can find the whole team maybe. Uh, 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 1988. But that's the year of Ruud Gullit. Try to find some more. Let's see if I can. But anyway, so you had so that team. Let me see if I can find who the players are. Was Ruud Gullit. I think Frank Rijkaard is also there. There's two Jakes, far as I can see. Yeah, from Basta, I think he was also there. He's probably also a Jake. He's from Italy. So, but the point, basically the point that I wanted to make, about this World Cup, there was a lot to do with, people. There's a lot of, yeah, of course, a lot of racism, and we're living in that time, everything is being stirred up, Yahusha is about to visit this planet. Yeah, it's about to visit this planet. So, everybody's being roused up, being stirred up. Race war is gonna come, all this shit. It's gonna be horrible. And you see that with this football, it's been going on for a while, because I saw old clip from Seedorf from the 90s, and he also used to play. They until this day don't want to talk about the fact that he missed a penalty. Meanwhile, he's the player. He's a former football player from the team of Holland who achieved the most things. He even won a championship with how you say that with he won a championship with AC Milan. So let me see if I can find some information about him. And he let me see. He's 50 years old. Let me just go to the Wikipedia, find some information about him. So he's born in Paramaribo, the 1st of April. He played for Ajax, Sampdoria, Real Madrid, Internazionale, AC Milan, Botafogo, and the Netherlands national team. He was head coach of AC Milan, Section Xiangyu, Deporte La Coruña until July. National coach of the Cameroon national football team. So let me see, because he was also with AC Milan. Let me see if we can find some information about that. If I can find because I thought he won a prize. With AC Milan. Let me see. Oh yeah, he won the Coppa of Italia with Milan in 2003. And that was the first time they had won the competition in 26 years. You see that? So Jake been doing a lot of stuff, and the fun part is about that last match. That last match was Morocco with Holland, and in both sides there were the Jakes. Holland, I believe, was Kakpo who scored. And from Morocco was Diop, I believe. So there was also Jake. So that was kind of funny, but yeah, the fun part is, now basically the whole world, the whole Holland, they are seeing, you've got a lot of races here, a lot of cowards, so they're sending pictures of monkeys and all that, calling us monkeys. Meanwhile, if you look at the chimpanzee, it's got the mouth of an Edomite. You got those nose monkeys, those are Edomites, man. So yeah, whatever, man. But they shown the true colors, and they had all these comments. There's also you had this former footballer from Holland, Rafael van der Vaart, which was not even a special player. He didn't achieve that much stuff, and so he was talking all the shit about the Moroccan players. That's what they've been doing. Of the Curacao players, also like, yeah, there's only one player that's officially born in Curacao. But now when they miss the penalties, they be like, yeah, they shouldn't ain't supposed to play for Holland anyway. Go back to where you come from, and all this bullshit. Fucking cave monkeys. And so the thing is, he so. Yeah, so he had all this talk about, this Rafael van der Vaart. He had all he was talking all that shit about the Moroccan players and all that, and just like, yeah, they're not really from Morocco, and those are not really good players. They ain't shit, and blah 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 blah. And yeah, they got sent home by those players who ain't shit. That's funny. And they were talking, and that's also the thing that I like. They were talking all that shit about Curacao, but just like Curacao, they are sent home, and Curacao is the first time that they ever took part of it. So yeah. And this, a lot of people are talking because they were also talking about Curacao, like, yeah, why they gonna play for Curacao, supposed to play for Holland, blah 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 blah. But this is the shit that you get, and a lot of people also now responding. They saying like to the younger, to the new generation, like, if you are a good soccer player, go play for your own team. Look at Caveria, Cabo Verde. So there's also a lot of people that I think maybe all of them that are born in Holland, but they choose to play for Caveria, for Cabo Verde. They ain't gonna play for the Dutch, for the Dutchies, because they a bunch of hypocrites anyway. Because if you perform good, then they talk calling you a Dutchman and all that shit. But as soon as you do, if you miss or whatever, you didn't perform at your best, then you are the player from Suriname or from Curacao, from whatever you are. They switch on you, they Tina turn on you. So let me just jump into the article. So Justin Kluivert, Quinton Timber, and Crescencio Somerville were subjected to racist abuse on their Instagram page, and there's also Justin Kluivert, of the son of Patrick Kluivert. So his father went to the same shit. That's yeah, basically all the players, all the sport players. It's not only with soccer, it's with all the sport. If I remember like Surrender Martina, who used to run for the Dutch team. They were like, oh, the Nederlander Surrender Martina, which doesn't even sound Dutch. He was running for the Dutch, and then he's okay. But if he's not performing, then it's, yeah, he's from Curacao, blah 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 blah. That's how these people are, man. So they missing the penalty, and they had their DMs filled with a lot of shit, and they said that the KNVB is disgusted and is gonna take action. Like what, they're hiding behind fake accounts and all that, but a lot of them being exposed also. That's beautiful, man. So let me see. Yeah, I don't know. Don't see really some interesting thing in there, but yeah, I just wanted to pull some scriptures, showing this devil, is created to be a devil, so that's what he's going to do. He's created to be a wicked piece of shit, so that is what he is going to be. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 55 and verse 20. He had put forth his hand against such as be at peace with him. Look, for example, at the so-called Indians. How they've been with them. Try to, they make more than 300 covenants basically, and break each and all of them. So-called white man, these Edomites. He had put forth, and meanwhile this native teach them everything, because they were, talking about cannibals. They were eating the dead, the deceased of the so-called Indians. That's what these cave monkeys were doing, man. He had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He had broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war is in his heart. His words were softer than oil, but yet were they drawn swords, and that's what it is. The wicked are strange. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 58, and verse 3. The wicked are strange from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. They are created to do evil, man. That's basically the point that I want to make with this. They sooner or later their filthiness, it will come out. They cannot hide it. They can hold it in for a few moments, but you already see it. Something like this have to happen, and they go crazy. And especially these times, when they getting sick of this asylum seekers. Everywhere they putting an asylum seeker center, putting it in the neighborhoods and all that. And these people are frustrated, they're demonstrating and all that, and they can do nothing about it. It's beautiful, man. These devils are suffering, and I really like it, man. I enjoying it. And this is nothing yet, man. This is nothing yet. There's a lot of shit to come, man. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 13 and verse 23. Can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? So if you think about it, in Ethiopia, is a dark skin. So by thought, he cannot change his skin. A leopard is known for a spot. So by thought, he cannot change his spots. Then may he also the good that are accustomed to do evil. You see that? Because these devils, these cave monkeys are created to be evil, man. That's what it is. That's what it is. They are created to do evil. So this is the book of Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 10. Never trust thy enemy. And first and foremost, you got to know who your enemy is. And, more and more of our people start to find out, and with our people, I mean the real children of Israel, the so-called Negros, Latinos, and the so-called Indianos, and those that goes back to those people by the household of their father. So our people are finding out who these devils are. Never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Though he humbled himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Because sooner or later he will show his true colors. Because first they were cheering, I believe even a match before that they were cheering all this, about how good they are and how proud they are on the Dutch team, and now they lost, and then now they get all this shit. Though he humbled himself and go crouching, yet take good heed. So be aware, So like I said, you gotta know your enemy. And everybody outside the nation of Israel is our enemy. But first and foremost, the so-called white people, those are our number one enemies. And you got also the head tribe, the Amalekites, those hook-nosed peoples, those small hats, those tiny tops wearings, those bastards that are dwelling in Israel, these Israelis, fucking cave monkeys. They are the Amalekites, and they are the head tribes of the cave monkeys, of the Edomites. So the book of Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away, because he is created to do evil. Set him not by thee, lest when he had overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. That happened with the Moors who were ruling in Europe, and it also happened with the so-called Indians who were in America. Set him not by thee, lest he had overthrown thee. He stand up in thy place, neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. You see that? So this is a warning, never trust your enemy. You see that? But yeah, like I said, you gotta know who the enemy is. So basically, yeah, basically that's the point. I just wanted to jump a little bit in that, and I'm very curious, because I think once in a 5 year you got the World Cup, and then I think every 3 year, once in 3 years, you got the Cup for Europe and all that. But you know, Jake is being fed up. Seeing a lot of clips that they're being fed up with these devils, and a lot of them, like I said, a lot of them being, they find him, they find him, and then they just basically make them public. I saw some funny clips. But yeah, man. So our people need to wake up. This is time to wake up and get right with Yahweh, Shem Yahweh Shai. And yeah, beware of your enemy. Don't be surprised by this shit. I'm not surprised by this shit. Like another thing also, like my father, he came to Holland, when my mother was pregnant with me. He came to Holland because they offered him a job, a steady job. He worked in a slaughterhouse until his pension. There's very heavy work, there's very dirty work, there's work that these Edomites, these so-called white people, these Dutch people didn't want to do, don't want to do. Very rarely you see them doing it. There's a lot of Turks there, Jakes, all kinds, basically, all kinds of people you see that doing that work. So my father been doing that, and that's what they've been doing, because they talking about, yeah, all these so-called foreigners here and blah blah blah. But it's these devils himself, lazy as they are, they don't want to do the dirty work. So our people came, our parents came to Holland to do that dirty work that they don't want to do, like for example in the slaughterhouse or the hard labor in the factories and all that. And my father, he has he had like EHBO, that's first, yeah, like the first aid education. That's what he had. So, and that means like if as an accident also on the road, you had to pull over and then you have to help people. And I remember I was like, yeah, it's like in the elementary school. I don't remember exactly how old I was, maybe 10 or 11, something like that. And I was in the car and my father, we were driving, and there was an accident happened on the road. It was a truck driver who hit a dude on a bike, an Edomite on the bike, and he had a head wound. So my father pulled the car over. People were just standing there, nobody was doing anything, and he knew exactly what he had to do, because he was trained for that. So he took a bag, put the bag under the head of the Edomite boy, but under the cave monkey's head, and placed him, put him in a certain position and all that. And then this old Shidomite, this old devil female came, and she asked, and this is in the time there was no cell phone. Yeah, maybe there were some cell phones, but it was rarely. That's the times that you had just a local phone. And the truck driver, he went to a house to basically call the ambulance. And my father was doing that work, and then all these Edomites, all these cave monkeys were looking there. None of them was basically doing something. And my father was putting it right. And my father's even darker than, was even darker than me because he passed away. But he was darker than me. And my father, I said that, meanwhile, he was, basically saving the life of this fucking cave monkey. And then the Shedemite came, this old ass demonic cave, Shedemite cave monkey. And she asked my father, so of all the people, she asked my father if he was the driver. So, with other words, like, oh, you probably done this, since you were the only